What does it take to risk everything, even your life, to escape from a place you once called home? North Korea, a nation shrouded in secrecy, is known for its oppressive regime. It is a world where freedom of speech, movement, and information are strictly controlled, a life that is far from what we understand as liberty. Here, the stakes are high, and the risks even higher. It's a game of shadows and stealth, where one misstep can lead to dire consequences. It's a journey fraught with danger, where the price of discovery is often a one-way ticket back to the very place you're trying to escape from. Yet, the desire for freedom is so potent, so compelling, that many are willing to brave these treacherous waters. Escaping North Korea is not for the faint-hearted. It demands courage, wit, and a will of steel. The first hurdle in this daunting journey is crossing the border, a feat easier said than done. This is a game of strategy, cunning, and sheer will. Borders are not just lines on the map. They are physical barriers, patrolled by guards, watched by surveillance cameras, and monitored by drones. The North Korean border with China is often chosen for escape due to its relative feasibility. Learning the local language, in this case Chinese, is indispensable. It's not just about asking for directions or ordering food. It's about blending in, becoming invisible in the crowd, and avoiding raising suspicion. Consider the story of Hyun-seo Lee. She didn't just cross the border, she became someone else. She bought a Chinese ID card and convincingly lied about her identity. This wasn't just a disguise, it was her shield, her ticket to freedom. Less guarded points of entry are also strategically chosen. These are often remote, treacherous terrains where the risk of being caught is outweighed by the chance of freedom. It's a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek, where the penalty for being found is far more severe than a mere "you're it." Crossing the border is only the beginning. The real challenge lies ahead. The road to freedom is long and fraught with danger, but for those who dare to dream, the risk is worth the reward. In a land full of eyes, staying invisible is the key to survival. The art of deception becomes a lifeline for those daring to escape North Korea. It is not simply about altering one's physical appearance, but rather adapting to a new identity entirely, shedding the past like a snake sheds its skin. Consider Liu Shijiang. A native North Korean, she found herself in China, a foreign land with a language she barely understood. But she didn't let this deter her. She dived headfirst into the local culture, learning the language, adopting local customs, and blending in with the crowd. She became a chameleon, vanishing into the sea of faces. But the art of deception goes beyond mere assimilation. Zhang went a step further, procuring a Chinese ID card. This wasn't just a piece of plastic and ink. It was her new identity, her shield against prying eyes. It was a lie, yes, but a necessary one, a convincing one. This art of deception is a double-edged sword. It demands constant vigilance, a relentless performance, a lie that must be lived every waking moment. One misstep, one moment of authenticity, could mean the end of the journey. In this life-or-death game, a convincing lie can mean the difference between freedom and captivity. The art of deception, then, isn't just about survival. It's about the pursuit of a life beyond the Iron Curtain, a life of freedom. Dodging the authorities is a high-risk game of cat and mouse. It's a dance with danger, where every step must be calculated, and every decision can mean the difference between freedom and capture. In a hostile environment, where law enforcement is always on the prowl, survival often requires a blend of audacity and cunning. For some, like Scott Kim, dealing with law enforcement became a recurring theme on their perilous journey to freedom. Captured multiple times by Chinese authorities, Scott faced the harsh realities of what it means to be an escapee. Bribing officials, though morally challenging, often becomes a necessity. It's a desperate measure in desperate times, a lifeline thrown amidst a sea of uncertainty. The clandestine exchange of money for freedom is not uncommon, often providing a much-needed diversion for the escapees to slip through the cracks. Working with brokers or smugglers is another strategy employed by many. These individuals, often connected with underground networks, offer a wealth of information, resources, and routes, helping the escapees navigate through the intricate web of law enforcement. However, it's not a foolproof plan. The risks are enormous and the stakes are high. Brokers can betray, and bribes can backfire. In this high-risk game, there's no room for error. Even a minor slip can lead to capture, and the price of failure is steep. The road to freedom is paved with tough choices. Escaping North Korea is not just about evading surveillance or crossing borders, it's about the emotional challenges that come with it. The journey often involves heart-wrenching decisions that can mark an individual for life. Take the story of Scott Kim. His journey wasn't just a physical escape from North Korea, it was an emotional journey that tested the limits of his resilience. His escape meant leaving behind his family, his home, everything he knew. It meant living in constant fear, not just for himself, but for those he left behind. And then there are the choices he had to make along the way. Choices that most of us could never imagine making. Like the time he was captured and had to decide between facing severe consequences in North Korea or risking another escape attempt, or the time he had to choose between his own safety and attending a loved one's funeral. Each decision carried a heavy weight, a price to be paid for the hope of freedom. But Scott Kim, like many others, was willing to pay that price. Because for them, the promise of a better life, of freedom, outweighs any cost. Escaping North Korea is a testament to the human spirit's resilience, a journey fraught with risks, yet driven by the unwavering hope of a better tomorrow.